So I don't know if you know this, Aquilino, but before I took a sharp right turn to work for the Trump campaign, I am and was an actress.
Mhm.
And it was kind of always a very contradictory experience for me because I love my field. I am first and foremost an artist at heart. And I would still be sucked in by this right-wing propaganda that was constantly railing against everybody in Hollywood, you know, the leftist Hollywood elites. And what I have come to realize is that they are so desperately jealous of Hollywood. And all that any of these Republican politicians ever wanted was to be actors and actresses.
True, true.
And I don't think we could ever see a better example of that, as pathetic and awful an acting job as it was, than last night with the Republican rebuttal by Katie Britt. I think we're all expecting an SNL skit to come of this, but let's just play a short clip of this rebuttal for our viewers.
I never could have imagined what my story would entail. To think about what the American dream can do across just one generation, in just one lifetime, it's truly breathtaking. But right now, the American dream has turned into a nightmare for so many families. The true, unvarnished state of our union begins and ends with this. Our families are hurting. Our country can do better.
Okay, Katie.
I don't know. It sound like we are almost die. You know, the whole country is going to pieces. Uh, I don't know. I don't know. The thing is, like they're not even pretending to want to govern. They just want power back, no matter what. And it doesn't matter how they get it. It doesn't matter how they portray people, how many people get hurt. Because you know, again, with the border thing, it's an emergency. It's been an emergency for the past 3 years. It has been an emergency last week. It has been an emergency for since 1994. You know, or before that in the 60s. And now that you have the opportunity to actually do something about it, you know, is better than not doing anything or nothing, like they claim that the president is doing or has been doing. They rather say, you know what, it's an emergency, but we're gonna wait until after the election in January next year. So Laken Riley family, you know, there might be more people killed by them, so we could use them. So it's always an excuse. They pretend to be care about people or things, but it just to let the outrage. And that performance last night, like I told you earlier, I started watching the first 2 minutes. I'm like, time's for me to change the channel. So because to me there was no substance, there was no delivery, and I know that half of the things that she probably said because I'm assuming because I didn't listen to the whole thing. I'm assuming those were lies as well, and that would just potentially uh, saying the same thing that the former president says that things are happening, and which is not true.
Yeah, like you said, manufactured outrage instead of real outrage about the man who they defend, possibly turning us into a dictatorship, with complete lack of sincerity and genuineness. I just wanted to read some of what I thought were the best reactions to this from Twitter. Joy Behar said, "Why does Katie Britt go from smiling to being on the verge of tears and then back to some scary Stephen King character?" Andrew Weissman said, "Katie Britt runs the gamut of emotion from A to B." Tom Arnold said, "Katie Britt is so bad she couldn't be in one of my movies." And one of the most substantial and significant, I thought, was from Shannon Watts. She said, Senator Katie Britt says sexual assault is the worst thing that can happen to a woman while encouraging Americans to vote for a convicted sexual predator. I mean,
And there you have the irony right there. You know,
yep.
it's fine as long as it's not me. It's fine for them doing it, we doing it as long as it's not to me, and that's the selective outrage that I'm talking about. They only care about the other murders. They only the other people who die of illegal immigrants. The other cases in courts, as long as it's the other party that they want to prosecute and point out too. Is when it comes to them, to their party members. I mean, heck, you even have George Santos in the audience, a fraudster. It's how can you continue to support all these people and you claim to be the law and order party, the rule of law. You support the police, but yet the minute the police says, well, this person assaulted me, then you will crime file, or don't, they're the victim, that the attacker is the victim, not it's very, very disingenuous of them. And I don't know. It's hard to believe them anymore.